Welcome to Regal Representation. We win with the Ashella Empire. I'm so excited to host you guys today. I'm Miss Ashella the First, and I'm going to be helping you along your journey of developing yourself regally and how you carry yourself when you're going to events, when you're going to have experience networking, and just overall polishing things. This is a free being held to help everybody for Women's History Month, and we are excited to have you. So, welcome. I want to go over what this class is about, what it's for, what it's going to help you with, and give you an overview of what you can expect to have once class is over, once you are complete. Also, I want to go over on the bottom. It says register online. You can register by going to this link, theashellaempire.us/register online, and enrolling in this class. You're going to put in your information and it will log you into an online course. It'll be a portal. This video, you can rewatch it. You can rewatch each week's video. There are all quizzes on there as well that open up the night that this class airs. So when you watch this after this class is done, there'll be an opportunity for you to go and take a quiz on what you learned. Now, you only get one time to actually get this quiz correct and get the answers right. And if you get those answers right, you get credit for that week. And you need all 4 weeks for you to get a certificate. But once you get your certificate, you are an official graduate of the Institute of Regal Development. So we definitely want you to register. Go ahead and click that link, register, and you'll get credit for this class that you're watching online for free today. So what is this class for? This class is for going over poise, deportment, a bit of etiquette, and some do's and don'ts when you are going out and about in the world of diplomacy or just even out and about in your community. Let's say you are older now and maybe you are used to going out to bars, used to going out to concerts and having fun with your friends, and now you're finding yourself in professional settings or networking events or displaying behavior that you might not think is going very well. Maybe you're not looks when you're going out in public and you're wondering why. Well, there are a lot of things that maybe no one has taught you. As we grow, as we develop, as we change our environments, and as we move along into society as older millennials, most of us, I feel that are taking this class, or as we move along as just mainly adults in life, we have to learn to, learn to read the room and to accommodate and to assimilate into society as an adult. So that is what this class is for. What can it help? It can help ease your mind when you are going out into the world, going to a networking event, maybe going to a gala. It can help you know what to wear, what to dress like, how to approach people, when is an appropriate time to approach people. Maybe you don't know how to get food, when is the perfect time to get food, or how many drinks are okay. It can help you learn how to behave in public social settings in a way that's going to get you invited back, in a way that's going to help you gain friends, in a way that's going to help you be seen in a positive light and really be able to express yourself likely how you need to express yourself. Maybe you're giving off the wrong vibe, or maybe you're just coming across as much younger, or maybe it's just you're completely new to. So this class can help ease your mind and give you a clear pathway, a clear direct approach to meeting new people, to going out into society, and to establishing yourself as a wonderful individual and a wonderful member of society. The first thing we're going to go over today is poise and deportment. What is poise and deportment? We're going to go over the definitions of those things and how we're going to understand how to implement that in our everyday life. And that's going to go on from poise and deportment, going into walking through our first event, walking through our first in-life experience, from getting an invitation to something, from what to wear there, for how to carry yourself when you are there, how to make introductions, how to do food and beverage, when to leave, what to do after you leave, and what to do with the host. All those things we're going to go over as it pertains to poise and deportment today. Also, I want to let you know that if you have any questions or you want to give any feedback or give any information, feel free to put it in the comments of the YouTube video, because I can see that live. So whatever you're saying in the YouTube video, in the comment section, I can see here, and I'll be getting to questions, and I'll be doing question and answer as we go. So if you have any questions on anything that I'm going over at this time, even if you're watching it at a later time, please put it in the comments, and then I'll be sure to address it in this class live. But if it's not live, I'll be sure to address it in the next week's class. So just to go back over, if you're just now getting on, or if you're just getting information, at the bottom it says register to certificate. You can go to that link and register online for this class for free, and then you can take the quizzes for this class after we have the online session, and you get credit for that week. You need credit for all 4 weeks to earn your certificate, and then you'll be official. So moving on in poise and deportment. Before we get into poise deportment, I do want to go over etiquette versus deportment, because people are saying, what is deportment? Deportment is how you carry yourself. It's the manner in which you carry yourself. It's the energy in which you carry yourself with. Etiquette is a set of rules that you have to follow that, depending on your environment, have been put in place for a certain social reason. So deportment would be, if you ever watched Coming to America, and you know how Eddie Murphy gets out of the car and he has like the lion, his father gets out of the car as this lion, and they throw out the rose petals, and it's like, you know, his stature and how he carries himself, like, I'm the king of Zamunda. That would be his deportment. If you were thinking about etiquette, would be whether or not it is appropriate to throw rose petals on the floor, or the fact that you do throw rose petals on the floor for a royal. That would be an etiquette thing, that you would greet them with rose petals so they wouldn't touch the floor. Maybe a red carpet, roll out the red carpet would be an etiquette type thing. But it's something that is put in place socially that people have decided is a thing. Deportment is the way that you carry yourself. So just making sure everybody understands the definitions of those words and how we mean them when we're talking about them today. If you have any questions, go ahead and put that in the comment section and I will get to it. But I know the difference between deportment and etiquette. We're going to go into what poise is. Poise is a dignified, self-confident manner. It is the way that you move, the way that you express your energy as you're moving about the room. It is you carrying yourself, your chest up, good body posture, good open body language that says that they are happy with themselves. It's not your head down. It wouldn't be, you know, you looking to the floor or mumbling under your breath, or, you know, maybe twitching with your hands. It would be very confident of how you're carrying yourself and what you're choosing to give off. Another definition would be showing a composed, serious manner that is worthy of respect. Poise. Someone says that you have. There we go. And then lastly, self-respect or appreciation for the formality or gravity of an occasion or situation, nobility or elevation of character, worthiness. I really like that piece, because that really just gives an overall sense that you are giving, that you understand that where you are and where you are going is important. It's like, no, this is important to me, this is a value to me, and I'm going to give reverence to the occasion. Think about when you go to church. If you go to church, or let's say you're going to a award ceremony or a court, hopefully court, if you're going to court for a positive reason, but hopefully you would understand that when you go these places, you want to give reference to these places. So you're not going to just show up and look like whatever. You're not going to come in, you know, dragging your feet, slamming the door. You're going to come looking, you know, like you have a lot of respect and dignified. You're going to come in elegant. You're going to come in dressed well. You're going to come in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go. You know, you're not going to come in looking like you just woke up, rolled out of bed. You're not going to come in, you know, angry with a mean and rolling your eyes at people. You're going to come in, you know, with a good elegant energy. So when we think about poise, that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about carrying, deportment being how we're carrying ourselves, and the how needs to be with poise, elegant, formality, and giving a lot of, you know, regal energy and a lot of reverence to the situation that you're doing. And you can carry poise in everything. You can carry poise in cleaning your bathroom. So we want to do that. But that's where we're going to go be applying all of this to. Now, as we move on in the course, I want to say that we're going to now move on to our first event. I wanted to go over poise and deportment to begin with, understand everything we're doing. We want to keep that in mind and keep those thoughts in mind and carry that energy along. And now I want us to put yourself, just take a pause, deep breath in. And I want you to relax and imagine you're at one of the events that you're thinking of going to, or maybe an event that you've recently went to, that you've experienced, maybe an event you've seen someone go to, and you're like, I'd like to go to one of those things one of those days. I want you to put yourself there. Not at the event yet. We're at your house, and you've just got an invitation to go. We're now going to do it to the part of the workshop where we're walking through how to actually an event. And as we do this, I want you to start writing that you knew, and I want you to write down things that you had no clue of. So make a column, get a piece of paper, get a pen, get a notepad if you need to. Go in your section, and I want you to write things I knew and then things I did not know. And we're going to take some assessment of where we are today in this class. And then at the end of the class in 4 weeks, we're going to come back and we're going to look at where we are, things you know, things you don't know, and then some questions you might have. So you want to have a snapshot of where you are right now. So I want to go ahead and have you go ahead and take a look at it. I'll give you some time to get it together. And we're going to start. So Our list. First thing we're going to do when we're thinking about going to events, when we're doing events, is we're going to wait for an invitation. Wait for an invitation. Now, you might think, well, how would I ever go to anything if I'm just like, just waiting for invitation? I'm getting invited anywhere. Well, ding, 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 ding. If no one is inviting you anywhere, then that you are not putting yourself out there enough. You're not really finding, you're not really, not when I say putting yourself out there, how would you get somewhere if you didn't invitation? Even online, even going into groups, finding online communities, even asking the people that you already know about things that they do, that of things that you like to do. So let's say you like to ski. I'm picking skiing because that's like a niche thing. I don't really care to ski. I like dog sledding, but whatever. You like to ski and you wanted to get into skiing, you start going to ski groups or ski things and you don't know any. What I suggest, now mind you, this is not the end all be all of everything. This is just something that we preach, something that we teach. It works really well for us. So if you said my cousin, my Sue, or whoever I took said do XYZ, do what they said do. This is not for everybody in the world. This is just for this class. So that's my little disclaimer. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it in life. I'm just saying try this method because it works well. Okay, the first thing you do, if you have never gotten any invitations to any ski events, any of the weekends, or anything like that, and you're like, I want to go to one of these events that looks nice. I would start with asking your network, has anybody been to a ski event? Asking the people you already first. Because you want to wait for an invitation. So you can just say, has anybody been to one? Does anybody know where I can find them? Is anybody part of any groups? Ask the network that you know first so you can have at least somebody that has some rapport with you to be able to introduce you into this group or introduce you to the audience or introduce you to the page or whatever it is. It's always best to come with somebody that of reference, attached to that group than to go cold turkey by yourself. Just like, hi, I'm this new person. I promise you. Secondly, if it comes from somebody that knows you, it's likely that you'll probably be a lot more on a group because there's so many type of people, so many type of experiences. Everybody has their own type, whatever. Birds of a feather flock together. That your friend goes to is a lot more likely to be something you'd be interested in and probably a lot more of the vibe of people that you would like versus going online and just thinking you're just going to go into that. Probably going to have a more likelihood of having poor mind you, whatever your friends or your network might share with you might not be your cup of tea, but it probably a lot closer and probably meet somebody there that can help you get closer to where you're actually trying to go than going cold turkey. So check your audience, check your families, check your friends. If you have nobody at all that's doing anything like what you're thinking, then I really want you to go back to the drawing board of why you're wanting to do that thing. Because like I said, birds of a feather flock together. So if nobody does anything in the genre, where'd you get the idea from? Where you got the idea from? Likely go back to that. And that's probably where your point of reference is to where you can get it in from. Even if it was like, I saw a TikTok and that TikTok intrigued me. Wonderful. Go to the comment section of that TikTok and say, where can I find more things like this? Somebody in that comment section probably knows because if they like that TikTok to comment, they probably know too. So I'm just saying, go find the point of reference or wherever it is that you're stemming from that you're like, I would like this, and then start there. And then get an invitation from there. Always wait for the invitation. That's the first one. Wait for an invitation. That's the first part of when you're moving through with this regality for Regal Representation, because when you get there anyway, you're going to want somebody to be able to connect you and introduce you. We'll get to that. Wait for an invitation. Go find one. The second thing is we want to talk about proper attire into an event. Proper attire. Usually the invitation will say what proper attire is. Now, mind you, I want to make sure you understand the time to pick whatever you want to pick. It's not the time to say, you know what, I think I want to wear, I know it says cocktail, but I'm coming with full ballroom. Not the time. It's not the time. Unless they have absolutely zero, they don't care. They say, wear whatever you want to wear, then wear whatever you want to wear. But if there's an address on exactly how the tour is, we're going to exactly do what they ask us to do. If they didn't put anything on there, one, you want to go probably look for pictures for past. If there's an event that's happened, it's an annual event, go find last year's pictures a couple years before that and go look and see what the consensus is of how they dressed. You can also ask the event organizer, the person who invited you, what they suggest that you wear, but make sure that you get an understanding of what the group can, how you're arriving. Never assume with your attire. Never assume with your attire. It never comes off good. Don't assume with your attire. If there is nothing, if they give you an attire, we want to make sure that we are dressing decent. What does dressing decent mean? Okay, we want to make sure that we're making everybody comfortable. We don't want anybody to feel inappropriate. We don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable in a situation where they feel like they need to leave or remove their children. You don't want any surprises. You don't know anybody's religion or anybody's beliefs or anything like that. So we want to make sure that decent includes a large variety of people. So one of the things that I try to make sure that I do is cover my shoulders. I feel like if you're covering your shoulders for the most part, now some people are like, oh, even cover your arm. Majority of people accept cover your shoulders. That means no tube tops. That means no strapless, unless it is strictly explicit. Like for instance, if it's a formal occasion, okay, formal occasion, you might can wear strapless if you bring a shawl or something like that. But if it has nothing, we're never go with strapless. Always cover your shoulders. Don't do a spaghetti strap. Do a jacket or something if you spaghetti strap or something that you can cover in case somebody does show up, or just don't stay away from keeping your shoulders. Just always try to cover your shoulders. You want to do is make sure that our makeup is, if you're going to wear makeup, make sure that it is a neutral, a balance of things. If it is not your event or your friend's event, if you don't know that environment is okay with, if you don't know, like, no, these people are very known for, being very eccentric, of being very wild, loves color. Event, it's New York. If you don't know what the dress code is, and you don't know these people, let's go with something very neutral, something that looks like a very light, nice beat, very natural looking, not a lot of colors, not a lot of bright. Even my red lip that I, normally wear, red is an everyday thing, so I like to wear. But even sometimes, if I'm going to certain places, I might tone it down to a nude because you don't know the environment that you're in. You don't want people to misjudge you or give you a poor first impression in their mind because of your makeup, because it may be a bit heavier, maybe you have a certain eyeliner, maybe a bright cheek. It doesn't matter. Just keep it as natural as possible, especially if you are new to a room, new to an area. As when it comes to our legs, we want to make sure. I prefer always a skirt or a dress. If it is a new environment and you're going somewhere and you do not know these people, a skirt and a dress does best, something that covers our knees. And you might say, well, that sounds really old-fashioned, I might cover my knees. And remember, again, we are working on helping people feel comfortable. So it's not about you. When we are going out to represent ourselves regally, it's not about you. It's about making other people feel comfortable, not in a creepy, like, I have to dress for the people, like, but it's more so understanding that people have different belief systems, people have different ways that they're brought up, and we want to ensure that we are dressing in a manner that people feel comfortable with as a consensus we feel is acceptable. So let's cover our knees. And for this, when we're going out to events for the purpose of networking, the purpose of developing in our social status and growing in a new environment or a new community that we want to be in. So this is not like going to the beach, okay? I'm not saying like you have to go to the beach in a burger or something like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that if we're going to an event of this sort, try for a skirt, lower than your knees. Now, when you're sitting, if it comes up a little bit, that's fine, but lower than your knees. If you have to wear pants, we don't wear denim. We do not wear denim. Why don't we wear denim? Denim is you are working in your garden, please, by all means. You want to ride horses, please, by all means. If you were digging in the coal mine, I don't know if they wear denim. I have no clue. But yes, denim, going out to network, please, no denim. No denim. Wear a nice linen pant. You can wear, you wear slack, you can wear wool. So many options to wear, but please, no denim. No denim. Denim screams casual. Denim screams I'm working. Denim screams no denim. No denim. Unless the actual dress code calls for denim. So when dressing decent, no denim. Let's say no to denim. Also, we want to make sure that where our neckline is, my neckline, I try to keep, if you can put your hand, like this. There we go. Keep it up here. We don't need any cleavage. You might say, but I like cleavage. And that's fine if you're at an event that you're throwing, or the people, or you're already established there and you know that that's cool for that environment, go ahead. I'm not saying this forever. I'm just saying when you put yourself in a new environment, but if you don't know the scene yet, just don't assume. Take your hand, put it here, and just make sure the top is at least there. Just please do. Trust me on this one. Try it out. If you don't believe me, try it out. Just try it out and see how it goes, especially if you're millennial that is moving towards more adult environments where there are more elder people than yourself. You try it out. And some people may say, well, a little line is okay. It's not in every environment. Just trust me on this one. Not in every environment. Additionally, with your shoes, in case no one has told you, 6-inch heels are not appropriate for formal environments. They're not appropriate for any of the networking environments after work. It's not appropriate for corporate settings. 6-inch heels they're not appropriate. And some people might fight me on that, and that's okay. Environments that you're in, if you're happy with your outcomes of your environment, absolutely keep going with the 6-inch heels. But I would say let's move more to a 4-inch heel, maybe a 3-inch heel. 3 inches are great. I'm not saying you have to go kitten heel with 1.5 inches. I'm not really a fan of kitten heels, but let's make sure if we are wearing heels that our heels are appropriate height. 6 inches is not appropriate height for these settings. 4 to 3 inches is what we want to go for. Much more appropriate height heel for these settings, especially as we get older. So bring it down. And then also let's talk about colors. So we want to keep colors that are more neutral tone, not to say not to wear, a bright fuchsia pink, but if this is something that is new to you in your environment. Hi, Andrew. Hi, lady, my brain, I always want to call you your actual name. Hi, I see y'all. Just saw you there. That you are making sure that you're picking colors that are going to be welcoming for people to talk to you. So as much as I love bright fuchsia and bright pink and fluorescent colors, and you know I love lavender, I wear that to United Nations when I just first got there. Now, mind you, when I went there, Yumi Olive was performing, and she was in bright fuchsia pink. But guess what? They invited her to perform. She's already established there. They already know who she is. They're excited about her. She can wear whatever she wants. I was new. I was in black. And if you know me, you know I don't wear black. I'm wearing black right now. I mean, for purposes of class. But you know, that's not even my color scheme. And you know, if I go somewhere, I want to be wearing tulle and sequins, and you know, but that wasn't my environment. I had just got my first invitation there. That's not the time for me to step out and with every big sparkle, everything I have. That's not the time. The time is when they're inviting me for that purpose, after they got to know me, they understand where it's coming from, and I'm not getting prejudged. I'm being invited on my character, who I already am, because they know me. And when I first go there, I wear more modest colors. I think I wore like a beige. I did have a tiny bit of sparkle in my beige shirt. There was like a gold thread that was running through it, like very ever so slightly. So if you want to throw in something, throw it in like that, like a little thread, and something very cute, light, but you want to make sure that you're picking things that are not just blatantly out there, just really, really big. That's dressing decent. That's what they say. Oh, whatever you want to wear. That's the borderline. That's the baseline of what we're going to go below that ever. Okay. Additional things that I like to add in there is always wear something on your head, even if it's a clip, even if it's a bow, even if it's whatever. It just makes your outfit look a lot more complete. I really like bows, but you can wear a hair piece, even if you put your hair up and put a clip in it, like a little, you know, or pearls. Always, it just brings your outfit together and make sure that your head and your toes match. Two toes, so whatever you got going on in your toes, if you put on pearl in your hair, maybe you have some shoes that have pearls in it, but connect the whole body together. That's the dress. That's basic dressing decent. Now we're going to move on to Sunday best. Sunday best is everybody doesn't go to church, but imagine when people did go to church. It is the best of your closet that is not specifically formal or cocktail or, you know, anything like that. It is the nicest thing that you have that can be like a really, really nice day dress. It could be a whole 3-piece little suit, maybe like a blazer, something really cute. You want to wear your Sunday anytime it is 5, but it's not explicitly ending before 7. So let's say an event is at 6:30 and it's going to 9. It's not necessarily your dinner. You're not eating it there, and it does not say specifically cocktail. You want to go ahead and go Sunday best because going to be after 5, like 6ish. You also don't want to wear your suit, your business suit, business casual. It also, if you're in the people are not working, you don't work jobs, or you're not in corporate, it's likely not going to be you know, a button up or things like that. That's going to be more your after work crowd. That's more happy hour crowd, 5 to 7. We're moving out of that, especially as we grow out of corporate. We're growing more into our nonprofits, more into owning our own businesses and things like that. Our environments are changing, and so we need to catch up with the for not working with, you know, after work hours, what I wore to work, and now I'm just making it look nice for dinner or look nice for, you know, for drinks. Where now actually I was at home all day and I got dressed 30 to come to this event. And so I'm dressed now for this event. And so that outfit looks much different than I'm literally wearing what I wore to work all day. So we want to make sure that we are dressing nicely like we were going to church, but not necessarily modestly like we're going to church. So I'm not saying dress, you know, matronly. I'm just saying make sure that we're picking nice materials. We're picking out, you know, satins, or okay, depending on, you know, what you mean by satin, you know what I mean. Nice fabrics, not necessarily your main blazers and slacks or big. It's nicer than business casual, but it's not necessarily formal. Cocktail. Now, cocktail, I've seen a lot of stuff. People say cocktail, they actually come in like formal attire, or evening dresses, or dinner dresses. So it should come at least a little bit below your knee, to, I'd say, below, right at the bottom of your shin before you get to your ankle. The length between that shin before you get to your ankle, that's more tealing. I would kind of like that. Cocktail's a little bit higher than that. And cocktail is going to have certain fabrics. So something that's not cocktail, the cocktail is not just about the length. I want you to write this down also. Cocktail is also about fabric. It's really also your nice satins, your chiffons. You can get a really nice, like the bandage for cocktail at one point. It's not going to be cotton. Cocktail, I promise you, it shouldn't be. I feel like it shouldn't be cotton. It shouldn't actually be cotton. It shouldn't be corduroy. That's not a cocktail either. Definitely not denim is cocktail. Make sure that the fabrics should match every time. Things that feel smooth, that have a little sheen to them, that have movement to them. Those are going to be things that you want to wear during cocktail time, things that are more rigid, that can take a beating more, that can take a lot more friction rubbing, because if you're moving and walking all day, that's more for daytime. So the nicer, finer, silkier fabrics, the shinier fabrics, the ones that fit your body a little bit nicer, going to be cocktail. So it's not just about the length, and it's also about the cut. So a business cut would be more boxy. It wouldn't have as, wouldn't be as tapered, wouldn't be as shapely. Cocktail attire is allowed to be a lot more shapely, a lot more fitted, a lot more sensual, if you will. So you can get away with a bit more, and you can get away with the length a bit more. I just still would not go, even if you want 2 fingers, I still wouldn't do cleavage in any of this stuff, because you're still just now coming to this environment, and you don't want to offend anybody, and especially a lot of people do bring their spouses. You don't want to make anybody feel inappropriate or uncomfortable with their spouses. You don't know how people move. You don't know people, you don't know their levels of things. So just make sure that we are still covering our arms. Even if it's cocktail, you still want to cover your arms. At very least, a strap, like at least this thick. This is not the time for spaghetti straps. It's not all boobs out. You can do your birthday party, do it with your friends, do it when you go on vacation. Do not do it when you're meeting people for the first time. Okay, and lastly, we're going to go to formal wear. There's also white tie, but we're not going to get in that today. I'm not saying I highly doubt, but it's not as likely you'll be invited to a white tie event when you don't know the people yet. Formal wear. Formal wear goes to the floor. We should not see your shoes. We should not see your shoes. We should not see your shoes. Now, mind you, as you get to know people, again, I keep saying this so you know, as you get to know people in the environment, change. If you know that it's acceptable in that environment to show a little leg or to show you. When you pick up your gown, that's fine, so your shoes should still be nice. But when you walk, it should also not drag the floor. And mind you, sometimes myself, it depends on where I'm at, it might still be on the floor, be like that sometimes. Sometimes I just have too many balls to go to, and I'm working on that. God is still, God's still blessing me. But if at all possible, we want it to not be short enough to where you can see your shoes, but not too long to where it's puddling the floor, unless it's made like that. Some dresses are made like that to make a puddle, and that's cute. With formal, again, we want to make sure we are still covering our shoulders if at all possible. Although the formal, you can get away with a little bit more, but make sure that we still have no cleavage. So even if it is strapless, make sure that it's coming up, if at all, like a tiny, tiny little bit, but let's still try to cover it. Try to bring a shawl, so that if you are in an area where it might be a little bit more important, let's say you get there and the priest is there. You just don't, what I'm saying? You never know. You don't know what environment you're in. You don't know who is coming. You don't know who's been invited, because you're still new. So you want to make sure you're doing well. Also, when you come to an event formal, that's not the time for fully beaded gown. Fully beaded gown is more so, unless it's explicitly, like white tie explicitly saying, oh, they're going to be fully beaded gowns, or you've seen fully beaded gowns. That's not the time for fully beaded gown. That's the time for a nice taffeta. That's the time for a nice chiffon, usually solid color. Usually, if it has embellishments, a light embellishment. Just look at pictures. If you go and look at these events, and if you don't see somebody with a whole Miss America gown at this event, and I love a Miss America gown, I truly do, but it's not the time for it, especially when you're just learning these people, especially when you're just coming. Stick to something simple, stick to something basic, light embellishment, solid color is best. If you want a pattern, a classic pattern, there are lots of classic patterns that you could pick. Pick one of those, and not stand out. You can still stand out by your deportment, by how you carry yourself, energy. You don't need to wear the most extravagant dress to still bring attention to yourself and still carry yourself well. It's understated beauty is a wonderful thing. For you to be able to rock a solid color taffeta gown, it's still formal, still fitted well, and just because how you carry yourself, people just know that you're regal. That is way more impressive than coming in with the biggest and the best glamorous, whatever gown, and not carrying yourself well at all. And people be like, okay, and then you just bring attention to yourself in the worst way. So when you're meeting we're going over attire. And then lastly, jewelry. When you're wearing jewelry, let's really try to stick to pieces that are genuine. Let's try to stay away from large costume piece jewelry. Let's try to stay away from very, very gaudy jewelry. Let's try to stay away from anything that is just overly, just ridiculous over the top, unless it's your stuff. So stick to things that are more modest. Stick to jewelry that, like maybe one or two things. Pearls are always great. Earrings don't need to be all the way down here. Just a little, you could just modest jewelry. Not to bring so much like just blingy attention, unless it's your wedding ring, it's a watch, it's something that you wear all the time every day, then that's fine, because that's just what you wear. But just saying, when you're going somewhere new, just keep it modest. I feel like that's all. So if there's any questions on what colors we wear, what kind of clothes we wear, anything like that, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer it. Even if you're watching this later, I'll be happy to answer it. And we're going to move on into how we enter the room. From entering the room, we'll go into introductions and walking through and talking with people. Entering the room. As you come into the room, when you start to come into the room, you want to make sure, one, you are on time. Make sure you're on time. I understand that when you're younger, when I was younger, if it says start at 8, I might get there 8:30, 8:45. Do not do that. If it's at 8, you get there at 7:45. Don't go to the door though. That's rude. Just, wait back. If it's safe to wait back. If it's not safe to wait back, probably don't go to that place. But get there 7:45. Peep the room. You start and you go in. You need to be going in early. A lot of events, especially if there's invitation, there's an order of events. There's a way that things go. They have a schedule. You don't want to interrupt their schedule. There might be a cocktail hour and a mingling hour and a photo time, and they open for that. You don't want to walk in and somebody's welcome. That's not polite. It's rude. Make sure that when you're entering in when everybody else is entering in. When is the best time to know when everybody else is entering in? Getting there before the event starts. Now, mind you, God's still working with me on that as well. So, we be late sometimes. Sometimes you don't get there on time. It's not a good look, and that's how I know not to do it. That's why you give room to grow. You know what I mean? So you can learn lessons to share with other people. So ensure that you're getting somewhere early and then watching the entrance. And when you start to see people go in, or it looks like the flow is going, you need to be going too. When you get in there, I want you to make sure you're looking around, you're seeing the layout first. When you walk in, okay, what does it look like? What looks like it's going on? Where's the flow of traffic going? Am I being directed to go anywhere? There a flow that they've set up for me. So for instance, the last event I went to was an awards game. Obvious flow that they did a wonderful job of guiding me on what I was supposed to do in what order. When I got there, there's somebody at the door. The person said, I need your information. She looked me up, and then she walked me off. Right after I walked past the door with my name, there was a table with champagne. There's a person standing there with champagne. She said, welcome, this is your welcome champagne. I pick up the champagne. After I walked past that, there was a place with a photo booth. I said, wonderful. Obviously, take your champagne, take your congratulations video with and then right after that there was a big sign that said, in light, obviously take a little picture here with the man that was singing crooner music. Wonderful. And then I walked in. When you walk in, there was a bar on this side, a bathroom right there with a big sign that says beauty sponsor, and then the entrance. Obviously they want you, and they gave you a drink ticket at the door. Get your drink, go ahead and go to the bathroom, and go ahead and have a seat. When you go into the room and have a seat, there was table numbers. You had a table number with your ticket. You found out where you sat. The food was getting ready to be served. By the time you finished all thing, but when I went my flow, I did it naturally. By the time I sat down, the food was open. And I said, wonderful. When you get there on time, you get the experience that your host intended for you to have. Get there on time, do the flow. When you get there, don't walk. If you saw that flow, don't skip all the steps and go straight to the entrance room. You missed the experience. And also likely missed opportunities that they put along the way for you to have introductions, which is where we get into now. Introductions. When you get, you're likely going to meet a lot of people. I need you to identify who needs a full introduction, who needs a hello, and who needs further investigation. So people that are working, quick hello, they're working. Even if it's somebody you've been following, even if somebody you're like, oh my God, I want to meet this person. They're so great. That's not the time. You're going to bother them. Don't try to get introduced to them at that moment. That's not the time. That's the time to be real quick. Oh my God, I wanted to talk to you. After this event, we need to talk. That's as much as you could say at that time. That's it. That's all. Real quick. After you've done that, okay, cool. The second you can give a little bit more to are people in your energy sphere, in your flow. If you already know this person, if you meet somebody there, so for instance, Andrea, I've seen Andrea a million times. As much as I love Andrea, that's not the time for me to talk to her for 5 minutes. We could talk any day. She got me on Facebook. That's time for me to catch up real quick. How you doing? You look super, super cute. And then I'm gonna go work the room. In the beginning, towards the end of the event, middle of the event, I can go back and talk to her more because I've already worked through them. I've already gotten all my introductions done. I'm good. So people that you already know, people that you already have good rapport with, say your quick introduction. Be polite. Don't be like, girl, I can't talk to you. I'm busy. Don't do that either. There's a balance, but you don't need to spend a lot of time in that right now because at the beginning of it, people are more open to making all the introductions because they're just now getting here, seeing who's here. I have time. Nothing's going on really. This is the time to talk. We haven't even started the ceremony yet. Do that first. They're not going to be talky after the event. I promise you. People are tired. They're trying to go home. They've already been planning what food they had in the refrigerator to go back to get. Do it when you get there. People you want more further investigation with, and you should already have, if hopefully you've done some research and understanding who these people are. People that you have on your bucket list that you need to talk to. So for instance, if you've been wanting to work, for instance, if you're in Impact 100, know who the owner is, and you know who's over chairs, and you know who's over, the board that does the grant writing. I don't know. There's people. You know their names. You should know what they look like. You should know what they do for a living. You should know whatever. And when you go to that event, you got them on your bucket list. I need to meet this person. I'm looking for these. And if they're not working, now mind you, the higher up somebody is, the unlikelihood that they'll actually be working around, the better and the more organized the event gets. So making sure you're going to find those people, and you're like, all right, cool. Those are the people you should be looking for. Also, people in your community that you know are important. You should start knowing who these people are ahead of time before you get to these events. That's not the time to say, what is your name? And you don't even know who this person is. This person, this whole sponsor of the event. You should know also, if there are sponsors at the events, you should go find out who owns those sponsors, the businesses that are sponsoring. Who are those people? You don't want to be talking to a sponsor that you might potentially be able to, have business with in the future. Don't even know who they are. You're like, oh, what is your name? And they're looking like, it's this. You obviously have no clue who I am, which is not bad per se, but it's a lot more impressive when you already know who that person is, what they've been doing for the community. You're like, hey, so and so, I love that you do this community. You're so great. Thank you for all that you do. X, Y, Z. Don't say I love work to you right then. That's not the time. But more so like I look forward to getting to know you more. X, Y, Z, and ask them something about themselves. Now, moving into what do you say when you even talk to people? Because they're going to ask them about themselves, and they're going to ask about you. What do you say? Here's my little flow. It's a very quick flow. It is I am, I help, who, to, and by. I have a little paper for it. It'll be in when you register for this class, it'll be in the this week's assignments. It'll be a little Google Doc. You can open it up, a little form. You can open it, it'll help it out. You fill out the little form, and then there you go. But it starts with I am, your name. I am Emerson Ashola of the Ashola Empire. Wonderful. I help. Who do I help? You're the group of people that you help, but very specific. So I help people of Afro-descendant people who live off the continent of Africa, who do not live on the continent of Africa. That's the African diaspora. What their problem is. Who lack representation with the United Nations and the African Union. That's who I help, basically. 2, have policy created in their favor that allow for repatriation and cultural exchange easily and effortlessly with the continent of Africa and their host countries by implementing programs offering free mental health education and establishing training opportunities and employment opportunities for the financial stability of said people. And I made that up off the spot because once you know the pattern, you got it, you can do it. So, and this is an exercise you'll be doing for your homework for this week. Homework assignment number 1. Don't worry, when you log into this class, it will have information there you can just put in and it'll be fine. You're going to make your own intro, and I want you to memorize it because it's going to help you, and you're going to be able to create a video saying your introduction. Mind you, you don't have to memorize it word for word as long as you have that flow. I am, my name, and who I am of. And it changes depending on the room that you're in. I might not always present myself that way. When I go to the United Nations, I say, I'm Ashola Matthews of the Ashola Empire Incorporated, because at the United Nations, the Ashola Empire is actually a legally formed entity, and I have to say Ashola Empire Incorporated because that's the actual legal name. And I'm Empress, but I'm also a director because it's actually, we have a board of directors, so I have to say director and Empress. So there's a way that I would change myself depending on what I'm required to say, where I am. I obviously wouldn't say that formal if I was at a pool party. Obviously, makes sense. Cool. Who you help needs to be the group of people you help. So not just I help people. I help, for instance, I know that I can relate that I help people I help busy people who lack the ability to experience massage therapy on a regular basis in facilities. I'm not sure. There we go. That's specific. Not just I help people who need massage therapy, with specific ones, busy ones who really need it and can't get to it if they have to go there physically, who need mobile services. Find a way to say that. Put that together. What problem they have. Who have this problem? Who lack the ability to go to physical location? Who lack the ability to be serviced during normal business hours? Who lack the ability to leave their home? I don't know, whatever their problem is. 2, what they're going to be after that, what they're going to have, what their experience after that. 2, experience the luxury of physical therapy regularly in their home by providing excellent mobile physical therapy experiences on a regular basis with subscription packages. I'm not sure. Put it together. And what does that spell? That is how our introduction is going to go. And that's how part is. It says everything that they need to know about you within less than like a split second. So it's not very long and drawn out. And then you know right off bat if that person is somebody that you can connect with, you need to connect with, because they know who you help, what you help them do, and how you help them do it very, very quickly. So if they know somebody like that, you're like, you know what, my cousin needs you. Or you know what, you'd be great for XYZ. It helps you make connections much quicker versus them not knowing what bubble to put you in, or worse, not putting you in a bubble at all. Oh, my name is John, and I work in automobiles. Okay, cool. That doesn't tell me who can help. Hi, my name is John. I'm on a ABC automobile. I help women and children who don't have men in their lives to know how to maintain proper cars, own and maintain their vehicle easily by providing monthly maintenance checkup services at their home, pre-scheduled for the year. You see what I'm saying? Then they'll be like, oh, you know who needs that? My friend Janet, because she never cheaped up in her car. And it can help people spark immediately who it is that they can connect you to. Help them help you, help them help you. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna do. So that's the introduction word. Let's move on to, because we've got a little bit of time left in class. Let's move on to food and beverage consumption. Okay, when we are at an event for this purpose, this is not I'm hungry or thirsty. Eat and drink before you come. Do not come. Ooh, when I get there, I'm gonna eat all the food. No, eat at home. Eat on the way. Do not eat and drink. That's not the time. First of all, understand these things cost a lot of money. If you've never been to an event, just know they do it per person, but it'd be like, oh, you want a meat board? That's $25 per person. You want this fruit? Also another $18 per person. Dessert, another $12 per person. So per person, that might be paying $80 for you. You know what I'm saying? So yes, eat the food. Don't be like, but don't think, oh, I'm gonna get my money's worth for them. Don't do that, because when they said per person, they meant we put out 2 sticks, because you said you want 30. So we put out 2 sticks per person. So that's 60 sticks. So if you ate 5, you ate 3 of somebody else's sticks. I'm just saying, don't do that. When you make your plate, it's acceptable to have, just a plate that is, I'd say 3/4 full is acceptable. Don't load your plate. Definitely don't stack your plate. It is more acceptable for you to go back for a second plate than it is for you to have one stacked plate. Please don't stack your plate. Don't do it. It's a tip. Do what you want to do. I'm saying you're a grown person, but I would not. I would not. Make sure that your plate is. I can't see my hand. And make sure you don't. If there are plates this size out, don't go find a larger. Use what's given to you. If the plates on your table are a certain thing, use the plate that's on your table. Don't go ask somebody else for something else. If the silverware is on your table, if they have plastic, don't go ask somebody for metal. This is not the time to do that. Don't be that person. Do that when you go to a restaurant, when you're paying. It's on your own dime. Don't do that, because you also don't know what that person's getting charged. Believe it or not, for those extra things, they get charged for that. The hotel, wherever you're at, can be like, oh, somebody requested we do that, and they add that to their bill. And that person's going to say, who did that? And don't let it get back there. That's not appropriate. Maybe you didn't know they charged for that, but they do. Don't say, oh, I see there's all cold tea out. Could I get a hot tea? They're going to accommodate you, but they also built that person for hot tea. Don't do that. Okay? If it's not out for you already, don't do it. If it's not open, don't touch it. If the wrap is still on it, don't touch it. If the cake has not been cut, don't cut it. These are basic things that maybe you know, hopefully you do know, but some people might not know. Wait for the invitation. Wait for you to be called to eat. If you see nobody eating anything, but it's unwrapped, don't eat it. It didn't mean nobody was hungry. It means it's time to eat yet. Wait. Also, beverage consumption. If you go somewhere and there are drink tickets, and your friends say, I don't want my drink tickets here, drink to. Do not use your friends' drink tickets. You should only have, at most, 2 drinks in public, period. Not because that's what you can handle. That's because what most people understand is okay and acceptable. Has nothing to do with what you can handle. If you want, just don't do it. It's not the time for it. We're here to work. When you go into these events, think in your head, I'm on the job. I'm here to work. I'm representing me. I'm representing my business. I'm representing my livelihood. I'm representing myself. Regal representation. This is not Turn Up Tuesday. It's regal representation. We're going intentionally, setting ourselves apart and creating standards for ourselves. So we want to make sure that we are not setting a bad example by looking like you are an alcoholic, even if you didn't even like the first drink, right? And you didn't finish. People don't know that. 2 drinks max. 2 drinks in public. 2 drinks max. 2 drinks in public. 2. And might I suggest no spirits. Might I suggest beer and wine only? And because we are ladies, might I suggest wine? Wine. You need a spirit? Try French 75. It comes in a champagne flute. It still looks nice. This is not the time to drink whiskey. This is not the time for an old fashioned. I don't care if you drink old fashions all day long. Please. Regal representation. It's not the time for it. Not the time to do shots ever. Never, ever. I don't care if they're passing around. Politely decline. No shots. Oh, at all. Ever. In public. Just the shots. Thank you. And then lastly, with our drinks, acceptable to walk around with the bottle. I don't care if you pay for the whole bottle. Ask them for a bucket to put the bottle in, and they'll walk around. They'll walk with the bucket with you. You do not walk around with the bottle. Don't walk around with the bottle. Because I've seen it. Do not walk around with the bottle. It's not cute. It's not classy. If you need to go from one room to the next, ask someone to take your bottle for you. Do not walk around with the bottle. It's not a good look. And also remember, there's always pictures being taken of you at all times. We live in a technology world. You don't want to be seen taking a picture with a whole bottle in your hand. And right now you might think, anybody's taking pictures of me. I promise you, every year, there are people like, mine, no one's taking pictures of me. But guess what? As you develop, people will start taking pictures of you, and you won't even know when they're taking them. And you're going to be like, when will they take pictures? And I say, well, why were you walking around with a bottle in your hand? Food and beverage consumption. If you have any questions, put the questions in the comments here. All right, where to sit? Where do we sit in an event? Wherever they told you to sit. This is not the time to change your seat. If they didn't tell you where to sit anywhere, they just wherever you want. Okay, that's different. But if they did say sit where you want to sit, where they put you to sit, they've likely already mapped these things out. They likely already know who can sit by who can't. Do not mess up their seating. Please use the seating that was given to you. Say they didn't say. You want to make sure you're not taking a space away from somebody who like they're important, right? So if it's not your event, if you are new, nobody knows you really. You got this your first invitation. Do not sit front and center. I promise you, that's for sponsors. That's people who paying. That's people who are there. Don't insert yourself there unless you've been invited. If somebody invites you to come sit with them, that's fine. If not, be modest. Sit in the middle. If you want to sit in the middle, like sit in the middle, like not the front in the middle. Move back a row or two. Don't because that person unless you've been explicitly invited to sit front and center. Also, don't very far back either. You want to look like you're engaging. You want to look like you're welcoming people that you want to be talked to. So sit amongst people. Find table that there are already people that know each other there. Or people who don't, but try to find people who already know each other. That way, they're more welcome to talk about themselves. They already know each other. So they will talk to you about themselves and ask them about themselves. Don't talk about yourself. Ask them about themselves. And also learn their names. People's favorite thing to hear is their name. So learn and remember their name. Think about their name that you can remember about. So like have a conversation about it. So let's say their name is John. You're like, John, my husband's best friend name is John. Your brain can instantly now have a remembrance because my husband's best friend name is John. Do that, which moves us on to things to do while there. Now, when you're at the event, you came in, you're going to sit. You made sure you got your food, you've gotten your beverage, you're there. Here's some things you want to make sure that you get done while you're there. You want to make sure that you have found and thanked the host. As long as they're not busy. If they're busy, leave them alone. But if they're sitting, if they're standing, if they have a time, find and thank the host. First and foremost, if you don't know who the host is, ask somebody immediately. Find and thank the host. Introduce yourself very quickly. Don't bother them. They're busy, but find the host. The second thing you want to do after that is find and thank the staff that helped them, including the staff that's working at the place. So whether it be a hotel staff or whatever, thank them. Just say, hey, thank you so much for what you're doing. Really appreciate it. This is a wonderful event. And give something that you genuinely liked about the event. I love the decor. It's really wonderful. And the food was excellent. Whoever made the choice on the baked carrots, that was a great choice. The baked carrots, excellent. Phenomenal. I really like them. Make sure that you're giving the why that you like it. And make sure it's genuine. If you don't like anything, then just say. But you should find something that you do like. Even if it was that I love that you picked it on a Thursday, it was easy for me to come. Find something, make sure that you say that. So first it was the host, then it was like the host. The third thing you want to do is make sure that you come back with at least 3 contacts. I said different goals for myself, but when you're with 3 contacts. And by contacts, I mean you set a date to talk at a later time. Not somebody I know their name and now I'll never see them again. Not I got somebody's business card. It's more so I made a connection with somebody. We know what we made a connection on. And we made a plan to a later date and we know what date that is. It might not be exactly on Wednesday. It could be like, oh, we're going to talk week after next. We're going to set a date for that week. I'm free that week. And I'm going to call you tomorrow. And we're going to get it on the calendar. 3 of those confirmed meetings. Book a meeting from a meeting. Never try to book a meeting after meeting. It's much harder to book after meeting. So book a meeting from a meeting. So host, staff, book 3 meetings from meetings, even if it's not exactly the date, but you have a plan and you know what you're connecting on. Not just, so, oh, let's see, we're connected. It's more so, oh, you told me that you actually do rescue horses, and I work with Oscar Place, and Oscar Place is looking to have a new Frisian horse, and you just got a Frisian horse, and you know where to get more. We need to connect on that. We know exactly what we're connecting on versus and then lastly, sorry about that. Lastly, you want 3 pictures with other people, mainly the people probably likely that you didn't know, before, and also likely people you're going to talk to again, because you're not going to remember them, they're not going to remember you. And a lot of times those first pictures is like, oh, remember when I met you at XYZ? But now you have a picture of it. So 3 pictures of people that you met that you know you're going to connect with in the future. 3 pictures. Those 3 things. Thank the host and the staff. Get 3 main connections. Get 3 pictures before you leave. Thanking the host was on there as well. Polite conversation. Moving on to polite conversation. What are some things you want to make sure you're talking about? Well, you want to make sure you don't talk about. This is a time to keep things happy and positive. It's not time to prove who you are. It's not the time to take a stance on things. It's not the time to be a fighter. It's not the time for that at all. You are somebody else's guest. You want to make sure people stay comfortable. You want to make sure that the environment is happy. You want people to have a wonderful experience. And you don't want to make the people who work hard on this pause. Each week I'm going to give a word, and that word is going to be in our in the quiz, and it's how I know you watched this class. The word is tugboat for this week. It's tugboat. 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 Anywho, polite conversation. So you don't want people to feel like they wasted their money because their event got ruined because somebody was walking around telling people that, Barack Obama was the worst president ever. And that people didn't know they're Republican, and now everybody's upset, and you don't want that, and you don't want it to be you, because it happens. Who's around here doing XYZ and now this issue, or somebody didn't know that the lead person here was, I don't know, from Palestine. So in polite conversations, more about what you want to steer away from, things you don't want to talk about. Religion, no religious conversations. If somebody asks you something about any of these things, by the way, you're going to say, I prefer not to say. Don't say you shouldn't talk about this, or just say I prefer not to say. And then probably in the conversation with that person. But if you can't have the conversation, just sit next to you, the part of the conversation, and say I prefer not to say. And then ask them about something else about themselves. But one, religion, not at all. Don't talk. Just don't. Even if you have the same religion, you don't know what Christian they are, what version Muslim. You don't know. Everybody has nuances. There's so many different sects, and not just no. Absolutely. Also, any form of politics at all, even if it's a political thing, even if you're at the United Nations, even if you're at an event, that's not the time. The time is in a working group. The time is while we're building policy. The time is when we're actually in a discussion meeting for that purpose. Outside of that purpose, it's not the time to talk about it at all, unless we came to a meeting and they said we came to this meeting to discuss our belief on XYZ and to come up with a policy. That's the time. If you did not come to the meeting and that's what the purpose of it was, I don't care where you are, conversation at all. Not go well. I don't care I don't care if you say, oh, but it went well. You don't know what they told you. You don't know what they thought after they told you. You don't know any of those things. So no politics, no religion, no children. Don't talk about children, child bringing, none of that. Don't bring it up at all. You don't know how people raise their children. The most you can do is say, a beautiful child. And even at that, you don't even know what people are going to say about saying a child is beautiful. Other than just like, oh, how lovely or how nice. I don't talk about children. I don't make any comments with children, none at all. People could go from like very happy to very offended very quick about their kids. Don't continue in conversations about children, about upbringing, about education for children, nothing about children at all. Stay very clear for that conversation altogether. Let's see, what could you talk about? Animals. People love animals. Positive things about animals. Talk about animals all day. Music, even music about music, classics, things over 100 years old. Classic music over 100 years old. Nothing today. You don't want people to judge you based on what music you listen to today or who you listen to or you didn't listen to. Do not talk about current events as it pertains to social media at all. Any gossip blurbs, anything trending on social media, anything trending on Tinder, anything on Instagram. If it's a trending thing, period, just don't talk about it. If it's who happened and what happened and what this person is, absolutely not. If it's not talking about you or that person, don't talk about it at all. Zero gossip. If that person wants to start to speak about gossip, like, hey, did you hear about X? Did you hear about? Absolutely not. We're here to talk about us, just us, me and you. If it is not including you and them or an experience you or them had, absolutely not. Do not talk about anyone else other than you and that person or experiences you'd like to have or plans. Zero gossip. Do not be a gossiper. It's not cute. It doesn't go well for you. It does not bite or bode well at all. Don't do that. When to leave. Leave when the program is done. Do not leave early. It's rude. The person that invited you created a whole experience they want you to have. Unless you told them before you even got there. Now, mind you, some people do say, hey, I'm coming, but I have X, Y, Z to do, and I'm going to have to leave early. That's acceptable. If you tell them ahead of time, they know, because they also have an opportunity to then say, actually, we have a certain program. It might be best if you just rain check for this one. I allow somebody that's, able to be the whole time to have the opportunity to come, if you don't mind. And you say, okay, no worries, because sometimes it is a big deal to have somebody leave in the middle, or it might throw off the program, it might mess up the flow. Other people might believe it's okay to leave as well. So give that person an opportunity to tell you whether or not it's okay by letting them know you need to leave early before even accepting the invitation. And if something comes up, let them know as soon as possible that your plans will change, you need to leave early. But other than that, you stay until the end of the program. You will know the end of the program because likely the host will say, hey, everybody, it's been great for y'all coming. This is our night. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great night. Da, da, da. That doesn't mean you have to leave. People might still say it, but until that happens, do not leave. It's rude. No one's told you. I'm telling you now. Let the program go until the end. And then after you've done that, then make sure you thank the host. Make sure the host sees you leave. Make sure they know you left after the program ended. And even if they're bombarded, this is not the time to have a whole conversation. It's time just for maybe a quick touch. Thank you so much. Great. And knock off very quickly, because a lot of people will be saying goodbye to them. So don't be like, oh, taking all the time in the world. But definitely make sure the host knows that you left, and also say goodbye to the people that you met that you plan to see again. Reiterate with them again. If you hadn't taken a picture of them yet, this is a great time to take a picture, a quick selfie. Have your phone ready already. They ain't got time. They think about getting home too. So be like, wait, real quick pic. I'm gonna send it to you. Let me get your number real quick. All right, cool. I'm gonna send it to you. Wonderful. Mind you, don't say that. That's practice that. Anywho. And after the event, once the event is over, when you get back, make sure that you give that event a shout out online. If you post online about things, post about what they did, post about the highlights, post what you liked, tag, give them some credit for their event, give them some kudos for their event. Make sure you thank them personally in a private message. If you didn't know the owner before and you got invited by somebody else, and hopefully when you got there, you introduce yourself to them, send them a message, send them an email if they have email. I was at your event. It was wonderful. XYZ. Here's some pictures from the event in case you'd like to see it from my perspective. I look so forward to getting to know you more. Congratulations on a fantastic event. Make sure you do that. It's important. If you didn't know to do that, now you know. Follow up. Make sure that you're following up the same week that you met these people at the event. Make sure you're following up with them. Wait till next week. It should be that week. People's brains switch off after they have Sunday and go back to Monday. So even if it was on Thursday, you need to send out a thing on Friday. Don't wait until next Thursday. So not a whole week is in 7 days, the same calendar week before that Sunday. Unless it's Saturday, then it's acceptable. I'd say maybe to Tuesday, Wednesday. But if it was on Thursday, do it on Friday. Do it the next day. Don't wait till next Monday. People's brains start moving off. It gets trailing. So make sure you're following up immediately by email, not a text message, by email. Set the standard, because you don't want people texting you for the rest of your life. So it's fine for text when you first immediately. And actually, I really don't even do text. I said, please give me your email. I'm going to send you an email. At most, it's to Facebook, because people don't have my phone number. Because no, you start having your whole thing. People be crazy. You don't know people like, it's on you. Anyway. And then lastly, you want to host yourself. Every time I go somewhere, I'm always making sure I have an event that is coming up in some kind of way, so that I can have, even at very bare minimum, something immediate that I can connect to them in physical form again and get to know them better. So right now, Ball Gowns and Flower Crowns is coming up on the 22nd. Drea has her movie premiere coming up 3rd. So there should always be something physical coming up that you can say, hey, I have this coming up. I'd love to invite you to that. So now you can give an invitation When you get an invitation, it starts to flow. People inviting you places. You've invited them somewhere. They can now invite you somewhere. And now you now branched off with something else. So you should always have something coming up. When you go to an event, there should be something coming up that you can invite them to. Now, mind you, don't do it spammy. Don't do it like, oh, like I'm out here poaching people from their other people's events. That's not cute. Don't do that. So don't be like, hey, I'm at my event. Don't do that. Do that when you've made a genuine connection with somebody you genuinely want to work with, and it makes sense, and there's an opening for it. And it could be at the event that you're already at. It could be when you follow up with them. By the way, I'm hosting an event, Here it is. Do not send them the flyer for it. Send them tickets to it. You have tickets, send them a free ticket to it. If you have invitations, actually give invitations. Do not send people an Eventbrite link. They automatically think you're trying to charge them something to get the email, something like that, whatever. Make it personable, or say, don't worry, your name will be on the list, or something like that. Make it very personal. Invite people to things. And that is the class. We are right. Oh, perfect time. We are right at 1 hour. That's the class for today. Now, mind you, remind yourself to go online and register for this class at theechelonempire.us/register online. And it's going to take you to register for this class. Quizzes that you need to complete. You need to complete all 4 and pass all 4. Now, mind you, they're already in there. It will not be those classes. It will not be those. Be new ones. So I want you to make sure that you are waiting for the quiz for the week of. So I know you might see quizzes there now. You only do this week's quiz. Next week there'll be a new code word. So you'll need the code word each week. So I know you video to answer those questions. So only do week 1's quiz, and then do week news quiz next week, and so on and so forth. At the end of the month, we're having our ball gowns and flower crowns event. It is March 22nd in Pensacola, Florida. If you graduate this class, we'll be receiving your certificate live in person at that event it's on Friday, and we'd love to have you there. And it's free. All of it's free. So just all you have to do is take the class. If you want to share this with anybody, please share with your family. And I'd love to see you here next week, same time, same place. I love you, and God does too. Bye.